The story opens on a scene of utter despair. A man, who we later learn is named Chun-Bai, is on his knees, pleading with a powerful, shadowy figure, the Lady Goddess of Darkness, Eloise. Despite his track record of completing nearly 100 tasks for her, a single, recent failure has sealed his doom. "Please, considering my past accomplishments, give me another chance," he begs. But Eloise is unforgiving. Contemptuously dismissing him as a lowly human, she proceeds to wipe him from existence. In his final moments, filled with rage and regret, Chun-Bai vows, "I refuse to accept it. I won't submit." Instead of oblivion, Chun-Bai jolts awake in a startlingly familiar place, the dormitory from his college days. A wave of confusion hits him. "Wasn't I killed by that bitch?" he wonders, the memory of his execution feeling intensely real. His eyes then fall upon a crucial object, an hourglass, a mystical item he obtained 20 years ago, right when the world-changing trial began. He watches in amazement as the sand within flows upward, reversing its course. He hasn't just survived. He has been reborn, sent back in time to 10 days before the apocalypse. His mind races, piecing together the events from his past life. He knows what's coming. In 10 days, on June 1st, the Universal will officially descend upon Earth. This event marks the start of the Great Trial. The deceased will rise, transformed into ravenous, zombie-like creatures, and conventional weapons will be useless against them. However, with great danger comes great opportunity. Those who survive the initial chaos will awaken powerful, innate abilities, and magical items will descend to Earth for the taking. Chun-Bai's previous life was one of struggle. His innate ability was a meager E-rank virus resistance, a power so weak it forced him to seek patronage from gods like Eloise, desperately completing their tasks just to gain a sliver of strength. This time, he vows, will be different. "This time I must become stronger," he resolves, a fire in his eyes. "Strong enough not to rely on anyone or any god. No, I'll become strong enough to crush even the gods under my feet. Just wait, Eloise." He recalls a crucial piece of information, a theory that surfaced a decade into his first life. It was possible to upgrade one's innate abilities. The secret was to discover and actively train them in the 10-day window before the trial officially began. His path is now clear. To upgrade his virus resistance, he must face the virus head-on, and he must do it now. His plan takes him to Jiancheng First Hospital, where news reports are already buzzing about patients going crazy and biting people. He knows these aren't cases of rabies. They are the first wave of zombies. Inside the chaotic hospital, he finds exactly what he's looking for. With grim determination, he exposes himself to the contagion. "If that theory is wrong, then I might just die here," he acknowledges. But the thought of reliving his life as a weakling, always at the mercy of others, is a fate he considers worse than death. "To start over and still be weak, I might as well just die now." As the zombie virus ravages his body, he is assaulted by hallucinations. The voice of Eloise echoes in his mind, tempting him to give up and embrace the darkness. But fueled by sheer willpower and a burning desire for revenge, Chun-Bai fights back. "How could I fall here?" he screams internally, resisting the infection that threatens to consume him. He blacks out, only to awaken later on the floor, feeling strangely revitalized. He stumbles to a sink to wash his face and stares at his reflection. "It worked," he realizes with a surge of triumph. "The zombie virus didn't kill me. My innate ability has upgraded successfully." At that very moment, a grand, ethereal voice fills his mind, the voice of the universal will. "Chun-Bai, congrats on your success as a pioneer," it announces. It explains that those who discover and train their abilities before the trial begins earn this unique title. The rewards are immense. All attributes increase by 5% experience gain increases by 10%, can awaken the attribute panel in advance. A perfect title to start his new life. Now, filled with hope and newfound power, Chin-bai eagerly anticipates the final confirmation of his success. A look at his newly evolved innate ability panel. The game has changed, and this time, he is no longer a pawn. With his newly awakened innate ability, Virus Monarch, Chin-bai understands its immense potential. It allows him to absorb, utilize, manipulate, and even create viruses. However, at this initial stage, he can only absorb them within a very limited range. To enhance his power, he needs a massive amount of viruses, and he knows the hospital is the perfect place to find them. As he ventures deeper into the Jiancheng First Hospital, he recalls whispers from his past life about 3 strange incidents that occurred in the city before the apocalypse. One of them was the sealed hospital. Seeing the chaos and the barricaded doors, he realizes he has walked right into this legendary event, a perfect opportunity to grow stronger. He begins using his virus absorption skill, pulling in the zombie virus from the surroundings and gaining virus points to strengthen his abilities. Meanwhile, on another floor, desperation has taken hold. A man named Lu Feng, driven mad by the inescapable horror, attacks a female director he had long pursued. Just as he is about to assault her, zombies break through the door, and the floor descends into chaos. Sometime later, Chin-bai arrives on the now silent 4th floor. He knows the military will arrive soon to seal off the entire area. He needs a guide who knows the hospital layout. He finds the female director, who was bitten but has not fully turned. Deciding to test his powers, he attempts to use his absorption ability to suck the zombie virus out of her. The process works. The woman, who introduces herself as Su Jing, regains consciousness, remembering everything that happened. Grateful, and seeing him as her only hope, she agrees to help. Chin-bai, pressed for time, asks her to lead him directly to the place with the most viruses. Su Jing guides him to the hospital's laboratory, where all patient samples are tested. Inside the lab, Chin-bai unleashes his virus absorption ability on a massive scale. He instantly acquires numerous viruses like hepatitis, influenza, herpes, and even HIV, converting them into virus points. With this new arsenal of biological data, he decides to create a new, more powerful strain. He combines all the viruses he has collected, focusing them into the zombie virus to create the Dark Light Virus, a unique virus specialized in devouring and evolving. Just as he succeeds, a horde of zombies swarms the laboratory door. Chin-bai tells Su Jing to stay put and confronts them with his new power. Unleashing the Dark Light Virus, he finds his new skill, Devour, is incredibly effective. It not only kills the zombies, but also rapidly absorbs their energy, even restoring some of his stamina. After clearing the threat, Chin-bai introduces himself properly. He notices the sounds of the military clearing the hospital, and knows they must leave immediately to avoid being detained and questioned. Su Jing suggests they leave through the main entrance, but Chin-bai, having no time for quarantine protocols, insists they escape from the rooftop. The chapter opens with Chin-bai and Su Jing on the hospital rooftop, attempting to escape. Their path is blocked by a formidable mutant zombie, an end-stage clawed zombie. Chin-bai notes that its overall power seems on par with his own. He attempts to use his blacklight virus against it but finds that it doesn't cause any effective damage, realizing it will be a long fight. The clawed zombie proves to be a tough opponent, managing to wound Chin-bai. As the fight drags on, Chin-bai decides he has no choice but to use his ultimate ability. He activates Devour, and the blacklight virus completely consumes the mutant zombie. The Devour is successful, and a transformation begins. The system notifies him. Mutant consumed, end-stage clawed zombie. As a result, his blacklight virus evolves, and he obtains a new ability from the creature he absorbed. Bone claws! This confirms to Chin-bai that choosing to develop the blacklight virus was the correct decision. Suddenly, they are spotted by soldiers who have secured the area. A soldier shouts at them to raise their hands, counting down from 3 before they open fire. As Chin-bai and Su-jing make a run for the rooftop passage Su-jing pointed out, a shot rings out, and Chin-bai is hit in the back. They manage to escape and make their way to Su-jing's home in the Rongfeng neighborhood. Inside her apartment, Su-jing insists on treating his gunshot wound. Chin-bai dismisses it, saying the bullet passed through and his enhanced healing has almost closed the wound. Unconvinced, Su-jing insists on looking, and is shocked to see only faint traces of what should have been a serious injury. Will you recover immediately? She asks, stunned. Playfully, Chin-bai teases her. What do you think? Want to sacrifice yourself to help me heal? When she confidently says he wouldn't eat her, he continues to joke darkly, saying he only refrained from eating her earlier because the environment wasn't quite suitable. But her home is a much better place for it. He leans in, asking if she's willing to be eaten to help him recover. After a moment of tension, he stands up and simply heads to the bathroom to clean up, leaving her flustered. While in the bathroom, Chin-bai checks his phone. He has several messages. One is from his roommate, Zhao Mu, asking where he is and mentioning that Song-ge, the school beauty, is looking for you. Another message is from Song-ge herself, which reads, Hey! Are you dead? Your roommate said you went to Jiangcheng First Hospital. The chapter ends as he reads these messages, reconnecting him to his life before the hospital incident. The chapter begins with Chin-bai at Su-jing's apartment, pondering the 3 strange things that occurred in Jiangcheng before the apocalypse: the sealed hospital, the suburban freezer warehouse, and another unknown event. He reflects that information from that time is scarce, as no one paid much attention before the trial officially began. Su-jing, referred to as Su-xian in some panels, interrupts, telling him 2 men are outside, sent by Song Ziqiang to see him. Though Su-jing warns him it might be a scam, as Song Ziqiang is the powerful Queen of Jiangcheng. Chin-bai confirms it's legitimate and agrees to meet her. Chin-bai checks his phone and sees a series of increasingly worried messages from Song-ge, Song Ziqiang's daughter, asking if he's okay after hearing he went to the hospital. He realizes Song-ge must have contacted her mother for help, which is how he was found. Recognizing Song Ziqiang's influence, he decides it's necessary to meet her. The meeting takes place at the suburban freezer warehouse. Chin-bai recalls Song Ziqiang's history from his past life, a woman who rose from rags to riches to become the wealthiest person in Jiangcheng, and who, after the trial began, awakened an A-level talent and built her own powerful faction. She was a figure he could only admire from afar. Now, things are different. He sees an opportunity to recruit her, which would be a massive advantage before the apocalypse truly starts. They meet, and Song Ziqiang explains that she sought him out because her daughter Xiao-ge, Song-ge, was worried sick when he went out of contact. Cutting to the chase, Chin-bai asks for her real purpose. With equal straightforwardness, Song Ziqiang makes a stunning offer. How about being mine? She even suggests he could become her son-in-law. Chin-bai questions how she could possibly know about his heroic performance at the hospital as he destroyed the surveillance systems. Song Ziqiang reveals her resourcefulness. Her people were still able to trace him through the chaos, and she had an informant inside the hospital. Among the survivors evacuated by the military that morning was Lu Feng, the man who had attacked Su-jing. A flashback reveals a conversation from the previous night between Chin-bai and Su-jing. She confirms that Lu Feng not only tried to assault her, but also pushed her toward the zombies before trying to escape, only to be grabbed and smashed against a window. This information allowed Song Ziqiang to connect the dots and find Su Jing's home, and by extension, Chen Bai. Back in the present, Chen Bai asks Song Ziqiang where the isolated survivors are being held. She playfully reiterates her offer. "Be my man, and I'll tell you." Chen Bai retorts that she is underestimating him. He flips the script, activating his Bone Claws ability. "I can't be your man," he declares confidently. "But it's you who should be mine. Be my woman, and I'll tell you what this is." Impressed but unshaken, Song Ziqiang dismisses his threat, noting that his claws alone aren't enough to win her over, and points out he already has the young and pretty nurse. Chen Bai coolly praises her beauty, then reveals his true advantage, his knowledge of the future. He tells her the zombies are not even worthy of being called a warm-up for the real apocalypse, a statement that piques her interest. Realizing they are both too proud to submit to the other, Song Ziqiang changes her proposal from recruitment to alliance. "Let's cooperate," she suggests. "My help for your information. How about it?" Chen Bai agrees, though he internally looks forward to the day a man might truly conquer the Queen of Jiancheng, hinting at his future ambitions. The chapter opens with Song Ziqiang explaining the situation to Chen Bai. The Jiangcheng military, led by Commander Huang, requisitioned some of her refrigerated warehouses to store both live zombies and survivors rescued from the hospital. A platoon, led by a Captain Zhao, was stationed to guard them. However, she notes that something has gone wrong, evidenced by the sounds of gunfire. Chen Bai immediately understands the cause. From his past life, he knew of an incident referred to as the suburban bombing, which occurred at a storage facility. He realizes the military, while discovering that low temperatures made the zombies sluggish, was unaware that extreme conditions also drastically increased the probability of mutations. They arrive at the suburban freezer warehouse to find chaos. The soldiers are fighting a losing battle against a gigantic, grotesque meat mountain of a monster, a mutated zombie. Captain Zhao desperately orders his men to spread out, acknowledging their weapons are ineffective and their only hope is to hold out for reinforcements. Song Ziqiang steps in, telling Captain Zhao to order a retreat. She warns him that they cannot harm the creature, and that his men are dying in vain. She instructs him to focus on evacuating the survivors and her employees, assuring him not to worry about the monster because someone will take care of it. Just then, Chen Bai makes his entrance. Captain Zhao, seeing him, is bewildered and asks Song Ziqiang if she is raising a monster. Before she can correct him, Chen Bai ignores the mutated zombie for a moment and instead uses his Evolution Devour ability on the warehouse's inventory. A system prompt announces that he has devoured large amounts of frozen beef, causing his blacklight virus to evolve and slightly increase his strength and endurance. Truly premium beef, Chen Bai remarks, noting that it not only restored his energy but also leveled him up. He then turns his attention to the meat mountain, which is also trying to replenish its energy, and declares, "Now it's your turn to die." Witnessing this bizarre scene, the panicked Captain Zhao concludes that Chen Bai must also be a monster. Seeing both creatures momentarily occupied, he gets on his radio to call for a missile strike on their coordinates. Song Ziqiang swiftly intervenes, stopping him. "Stay calm, Captain Zhao," she warns. "Think carefully, he's helping us now, and he saved you. Don't do stupid things, or it will end badly for everyone." The chapter begins 10 minutes after the intense battle with the mutated zombie. Chen Bai stands victorious over the remains of the Flesh Mountain. A series of system prompts detail his rewards. He has obtained the Flesh Mountain zombie virus variant, gained 500 virus points, and unlocked a new core talent: virus injection. By devouring the rare mutant, all his blacklight virus abilities have been greatly enhanced, and he has acquired the Hercules Hammer ability. Most importantly, he has obtained the Flesh Mountain Core, a very rare material that can be used to craft equipment or even create an infinitely growing flesh wall. As he inspects his loot, Song Ziqiang introduces him to a woman named Luli, a well-known journalist and internet celebrity. Qinbai recognizes her immediately and correctly guesses that she was the one who secretly filmed him at the hospital. Luli confirms this and thanks him for saving her twice. When she offers to delete the footage of him killing the Flesh Mountain out of professional courtesy, Qinbai surprises her by telling her to keep it, stating that he has a use for it later. Their conversation is interrupted by Captain Zhao, who formally relays a message from his superior, Commander Huang of the Jiancheng military region. The commander hopes Qinbai will come to the military headquarters to explain everything about himself and his knowledge. The name, Huang Xingqiu, triggers a dark memory for Qinbai. In his past life, Commander Huang was a tyrant who brutally exploited the weak and newly awakened, using patriotism as a pretext to treat them like disposable tools. Qinbai himself was one of his victims, forced to struggle and starve until he finally escaped Jiancheng. Before Qinbai can respond, Song Ziqiang steps in. She scolds Captain Zhao for his official tone, telling him a mere platoon leader isn't qualified to speak to her like that. She dismisses the summons, declaring, "You go tell Huang Xingqiu, if he has any issues, he should come to me himself." Just then, a soldier runs up to report that the isolated survivors are causing trouble, with one man being the primary instigator. When the soldier confirms the man's name is Lu Feng, Qinbai requests to see him. Qinbai confronts Lu Feng, who is arrogantly trying to use his father's status as the vice president of the hospital to get special treatment. Without a word, Qinbai uses his new virus injection ability, injecting Lu Feng with a dose of the zombie virus. As Lu Feng reels back in shock, Qinbai coldly informs him, "Su Xian told me last night in bed. Because of what you did to her with the zombie, she wants you dead." Lu Feng panics, unable to believe Su Xian, could be alive. As the transformation begins to take hold, Qinbai warns the soldiers to step back. In his final moments of lucidity, Lu Feng screams denials, but it's too late. The injection is more potent than Qinbai expected, and Lu Feng turns quickly. Watching the swift and ruthless revenge, Song Ziqiang is visibly impressed. She tells Qinbai he has performed well, and that she will share some information with him when they get back. Solidifying their new partnership, she says, "You can call me Ziqiang from now on, or Song Jie." She adds with a smile, "It's worth it to be your partner." As Qinbai leaves the warehouse, he receives a dinner invitation from Song Ziqiang. Before heading over, he decides to check his rewards from defeating the Meat Mountain. He receives 2 F-rank active skill books, Rampage and Bloodlust, but dismisses them as unsuitable for his own build due to their significant drawbacks. However, he recognizes their value for building a faction in the early days of the trial. This thought prompts him to act. Using the 6 gold coins he earned, he creates Chat Group 001. His goal is to use it to gather other pioneers, like himself, help them build a solid foundation before the apocalypse, and establish crucial early-stage relationships. As he creates the group, he vows to one day rebuild his White Emperor city and make his former master, Heloise, the lowliest dog under my feet. 3 hours later, at Song Ziqiang's private villa, Qinbai gives her a grim overview of the coming trial. Over 90% of people will become monsters, and firearms and most electronics will become useless. Finding his explanation insufficient, Song Ziqiang cuts to the point and asks directly how she can become his person. Bai lays down his harsh terms. She needs ability, as he has no use for the useless, and absolute, unquestioning loyalty, like a dog to its master. Song Ziqiang argues her current influence, money, and status in Jiancheng make her qualified. Bai coldly refutes this, explaining that her current power will be worthless after the trial begins, and will only make the idea of enslaving her more tempting to others. He offers her a choice: be a plaything for someone else, or join him and be given a stage to exert her strength under a master who will never fear her. Because I will always be stronger than you and above you. Convinced she is facing a pivotal opportunity, Song Ziqiang submits. He immediately gives her tasks via the chat group, instructing her subordinate, Chinger, to get the video footage from Luli, and then ensure Luli gets home safely to rest. He also has her arrange for his forum post titled, "To the Pioneers," under the ID, Pioneer White Emperor, to be kept visible on all major forums. He then uses Song Ziqiang's phone to call her daughter, Song Ge, and curtly tells her to come home for something important, much to Song Ji's annoyance. After the call, Song Ziqiang asks if he can also protect her daughter. Bai states that if Song Ziqiang works hard enough for him, he can guarantee her daughter will, most likely, not become a monster when the trial arrives. Humbly, Song Ziqiang thanks him, calling him Master. Later, they meet at a secret suburban warehouse. Song Ziqiang reports that she scouted all the rumored monster hotspots in the city, but only found one location still active, a former underground casino now filled with about 160 zombies. Bai immediately deduces that someone else must be collecting zombies from the other locations. He realizes this must be the location of the third strange pre-apocalypse incident he remembered, the zombie slaughterhouse. He wonders aloud if this mysterious collector is a clueless adventurer or another pioneer who, like him, has knowledge of the future, finding the mystery. Quite exciting. The chapter opens at the underground casino, where Bai and Song Ziqiang's forces have just finished clearing out the zombies. A system prompt congratulates Bai for killing over 300 zombies, awarding him the Zombie Hunter title, which grants +5 to all attributes and a 5% damage increase against zombies. More importantly, by collecting over 500 zombie virus samples, he unlocks the ability to exchange virus points for the Zombie Virus Serum Formula in his talent tree, a game-changing item that can cure zombie infection. Bai then puts Song Ziqiang's team to the test. He instructs them to fight the remaining zombies one-on-one with cold weapons, explaining that doing so greatly reduces the chance of turning into a monster when the trial begins. He observes and assesses their performance harshly. One is ruthless but lacks finishing strength. Another is weak but uses his knowledge of human anatomy to secure a kill. His assessment of Song Ge, however, is simply that she's being scared without even fighting. Dissatisfied, Bai tells Song Ziqiang that her people are too bad and that he doesn't have time to train them personally, delegating the task to her. He then shows her the incredibly complex serum formula he acquired. Trusting her capabilities and resources, he hands over the formula for her to produce, a significant gesture that solidifies her role in his plans. Afterward, Bai has one of Song Ziqiang's people, Lung Shuang, take him home. Alone, he finally checks the results of his forum post. To the Pioneers. He sifts through several useless messages in his 001 chat group before finding a promising contact with the username, "I'm not a shill." After a brief exchange, the user reveals they have an S-level mental control talent. Bai immediately instructs this new pioneer, whose name is Han Xiao, on how to find and join the private chat group. Once inside, Han Xiao asks if they can invite another person named Chu Huan, who had contacted them privately after seeing Bai's post. The name instantly electrifies Chen-bai. He recognizes Shuichuan as the future emperor-level powerhouse who would become known as Suicune. Overcome with excitement at this incredible stroke of luck, he tells Han Xiao to invite any and all pioneers they find into the group. The chapter ends on a triumphant note as the system announces, "Welcome Shuichuan to the chat group." The chapter begins with Song Ziqiang reporting to Chen-bai. Her investigator, Lu Li, has discovered that the forces of the Jiancheng Lord are responsible for collecting the zombies and have moved them to the Manga container yard. However, Lu Li's team has been captured, and now their captors are demanding Song Ziqiang come to negotiate. While this unfolds, Chen-bai multitasks, mentoring the other pioneers in his chat group. He advises the user, Shuichuan, the future powerhouse, Suicune, on their SS-level talent, Inwood Body, helping them understand the high stack cost of their abilities, and recommending they prioritize Constitution over Spirit to avoid being a blast cannon. Upon learning of Lu Li's capture, Chen-bai, acting as Song Ziqiang's master, declares that he will go to save her. The scene shifts to the Mankai container yard, where the Jiancheng Lord, a man named Xing Ming, is threatening the captive Lu Li. Suddenly, he's interrupted by the sight of Chen-bai, who has appeared out of nowhere, and is casually sitting at their table eating a steak. Chen-bai calmly tells a stunned Lu Li to go home, assuring her that Song Ziqiang is waiting in a car outside. Xing Ming, intrigued by Chen-bai's stealthy appearance, correctly deduces he is also a pioneer and that he has somehow brought the Queen of Jiancheng, Song Ziqiang, under his control. He proposes an alliance, suggesting that with the Lord, himself, and the Queen, via Chen-bai, united, they only need to deal with the military's commander to rule the city. He offers to make Chen-bai a trusted confidant and tries to intimidate him by boasting about his own S-level talent. Chen-bai flatly rejects the offer. He reveals he knows Xing Ming's dark secret. He's not just collecting zombies, but actively creating more using living people. Having such a powerful ability like yours is harmful and useless, Chen-bai states coldly. It's better to die early. Also, you're not worthy of having me assist you. To drive his point home, Chen-bai reveals, my talent is SSS level. Xing Ming scoffs in disbelief. He reveals his S-level talent is Slaughter Progression, an ability that lets him permanently steal a portion of the attributes from anyone he kills, allowing for theoretically infinite growth. He can't fathom what an SSS-level talent could possibly be of his own. Invincible. Ability is only S-rank. The confrontation immediately erupts into a fight. Chen-bai attacks with his bone claws, but Xing Ming counters by transforming his own arm, revealing he is a shape-shifting type. Though Chen-bai's initial blow is blocked, Xing Ming notes his strength is still lacking. The chapter ends as Chen-bai realizes his opponent's shape-shifting is a skill, not his core talent, meaning Xing Ming hasn't revealed his full capabilities, and he must be extra careful. The chapter picks up mid-battle between Chen-bai and Xing Ming. Xing Ming, confident in his superior physical attributes, taunts Chen-bai to stop hiding and reveal his SSS-level talent. Chen-bai calmly replies, I'm already using my talent. It's just that you didn't realize it. As Xing Ming lunges, he is suddenly crippled by a barrage of negative status effects, fear of light and water, slow thinking, slow movement, and increased stamina consumption. Chen-bai explains that his virus monarch talent has been subtly infecting Xing Ming all along. With his opponent incapacitated, Chen-bai easily defeats and devours him. The system announces a major breakthrough. By absorbing an evolved human, Chen-bai's blacklight virus has completed its initial awakening. Its attribute bonuses are no longer temporary buffs, but have become permanent additions to his base stats. His Devour ability also evolves, now granting him the chance to view his target's memories, and a low probability of learning their skills. He checks his stats and is amazed by the massive boost: strength plus 50, agility plus 50, physique plus 50, and spirit plus 40. From Xingming's remains, he loots a rank, zombie claws, and, more importantly, a sea-level production blueprint for a weapon called Biohazard Disaster. He muses that Xingming must have had a high luck attribute to find such rare items. As he is driven from the scene by Song Ziqiang's subordinate, Qinbai reflects on his incredible progress. In just a few days, he has upgraded his talent from E to SSS, solved the mysteries of the 3 strange events, and subdued a future powerhouse. With his current strength, he decides that hunting random pretrial monsters is no longer a good use of his time. He resolves to spend the final hours organizing and preparing for the apocalypse. Back at Song Ziqiang's villa, she and her team give him a final report. They have completed all his tasks. Materials have been purchased and stockpiled, and the terrain and population data for their designated safe zone have been mapped out for a swift takeover once the chaos begins. With only 10 minutes left, Qinbai addresses his Pioneer Chat group one last time. He warns them not to be complacent with their early advantages and rare talents, as the dangers of the trial are beyond imagination. The group members count down the final minutes together. The scene shifts to Qinbai, Song Ziqiang, and her team looking out the window as the sky darkens. The countdown reaches its final seconds. As a young girl whispers that she's scared, a massive, system-like message appears in the sky for all the world to see, announcing that the trial has officially begun. The world as they know it is coming to an end.